Now, in the last hour, the former Prime Minister Tony Blair has warned that if Jeremy Corbyn becomes the next Labour leader, the party could face annihilation. Also tonight, Labour officials have revealed a huge jump in the number of people registered to vote in the election. More than 610,000 people are now qualified to vote in the contest. That's 156,000 more than yesterday, and almost 100,000 of those new names are people from affiliated unions. At the same time, Jeremy Corbyn's three leadership rivals have sent a joint letter to party officials, calling the integrity of the whole election process into doubt. Well, with me now, the Deputy Leadership hopeful Ben Bradshaw and Diane Abbott, who's backing the Corbyn campaign. Are these the desperate throes of people who are losing?
You mean the letter from the other candidates?
The letter and the Blair intervention.
Well, in terms of the letter from the other candidates, I mean, the practical points they make, I think they're not unreasonable, and I'm sure the party will find a way to meet them. The party, you know, has done a fantastic job dealing with this huge surge. I don't think the practical...
So it's true that the Corbyn campaign have had access to these...
No.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that processes need not only to be fair, but to be seen to be fair. And the practical points they're making are not unreasonable, and I'm sure the party will meet them.
Ben Bradshaw, are you concerned about the integrity of this process?
I think it's fantastic we've got all these new members, Christian, but I do have concerns about the integrity of the process, similar to the ones expressed by the three leadership candidates. I have one of the best organised local parties in the whole country, and we are struggling to verify all these new people. And I'm also worried about this issue about the union affiliates whose names and details the candidates won't get until 10 days after the ballot papers have already gone out. I think that's problematic.
So just for clarity, the allegation, it seems to be in the letter, is that they are saying that the Corbyn campaign have had access to the union lists. Is that the thing?
I don't know whether that's the case. I'm not as close to the detail. You'd have to ask the party about that. But
true.
One of the other things that's been... The Electoral Reform Society came out about an hour ago, I think, saying they thought the whole process should be halted. I don't know their reasons for that, but, I mean, clearly there are people with concerns about this. The party, as Diane rightly says...
Do you think it should be halted?
I think Diane is right. The party needs to reassure people about the integrity of this process, and let's see what they have to say.
Yeah. And so if it can't, maybe a halt?
Well, the party, up until now, has been quite clear that it is confident in the integrity of the process. Three of the leadership candidates have raised questions about that today. The Electoral Reform Society have. Let's see how the party responds.
Let's be clear, I'm not calling into question the integrity of the process. That would be a smear on party officials and actually hugely damaging to the party. What we've seen up and down the country is lots of young people, all sorts of people getting involved, and that must be a good thing.
How can you check them all in time?
That's what they're doing, and what they're saying is that the process of checking will go on all through the balloting process until mid-September. They've also taken legal advice, and what they're doing, because they're going to so much trouble, the process will be proof against legal challenge. And let me just say this. The technical points in that letter, they're reasonable and they should be met. But in terms of the idea that the process has been overwhelmed by hundreds of thousands of crazed Trotskyists, this is nonsense.
But there's hundreds of thousands in the last 24 hours.
Yes, but this is a genuine surge. I should remind you that 2 years ago, the party set up the Collins Review, which set up this process. Last year, we had a conference. People have had 2 years to raise these queries. Okay. They're raising them now because they're worried their candidate will lose.
Right, let's turn to what Tony Blair is addressing, which is an amazing letter. The party is walking eyes shut, arms outstretched over the cliff's edge, he says, to the jagged rocks below. This is the moment for a rugby tackle. Figuratively, verbally, would you like to rugby tackle the Corbyn campaign?
No, certainly not. I'd like to hug the Corbyn campaign. I'd hug Diane. Look, Tony Blair won us 3 elections. He's perfectly entitled to express a view. I would put it slightly differently, and I'm running for deputy, so I'm not expressing a view about the leadership candidates, because if I win, I'll have to work with whoever wins. But look, you know, we lost 4 out of the 5 voters we need to win back at the general election voted Conservative on May the 7th. I won a safe Conservative seat in the south of England and trebled my majority. There are scores of seats like that. Statistically, we have to win back. And I question the theory that we're going to win those seats back by veering to the left. I won't put it more strongly than that.
So you are not prepared to say Tony Blair is right?
I will use my own words, and I just have, Christian.
Diane Abbott?
Tony Blair is, of course, entitled to his opinion, but he should try and judge whether at this stage it's counterproductive. Those people who are interested in what he has to say wouldn't dream of voting for Jeremy Corbyn. And I think the other people, as I say, this might be counterproductive.
Do you think there is a difference, though, between the Labour electorate, who is deciding this, and the general election electorate out there? I mean, are they vastly to the left of them? And therefore, is there going to be a problem in terms of who's deciding?
No, I think...
How are you going to choose an electable Prime Minister with that electorate is the question.
Well, the fundamental question is, are party members and supporters going to be allowed to choose the leader of the party? We've had all these reforms, 2 years of the Collins Review, and we've got actually what is in principle the most democratic process we've ever had. And people are saying, MPs are saying they're going to disrupt it. People are saying it needs to be run again, as if party members need to keep voting till they get the right answer.
What has gone wrong for your side of the party, though? I mean, that side of the party, hugely motivated, massive, meetings, huge enthusiasm, signing up people by the tens of thousands. Your side, the New Labour side, just hasn't been able to meet that. I
think there's a natural tendency after a terrible election defeat, which we've just had, for people to indulge in an emotional spasm, to reach for the comfort blanket. What we need to do as a party is to think hard-headedly about the leadership and the strategy we need to win an election, because without winning an election, we can't put all of our principles and values into practice and deliver for the people who need a Labour government. That would be the biggest...
So they're being indulgent?
No, the biggest betrayal of the people who need a Labour government is our failure to win elections. We went through all of this in the 1980s for 18 years. I don't want the next generation to go through that again.
You are running to be deputy leader. How could you possibly serve under Jeremy Corbyn, given your politics are so different?
Well, there is an argument that having a balanced ticket would be a good thing. We're a broad church as a party. We've always succeeded as a party when we've brought social democrats, socialists, social liberals together in one big tent. That's how we win elections. Whoever wins the leadership, whoever wins the deputy leadership is going to have to work very hard at uniting the party, taking the fight to the Tories so that we can win the next election.
And you could serve in a Corbyn shadow cabinet, could you? Even if you don't win the deputy leadership. It's collective responsibility.
There are too many what-ifs yet. I mean, he's talked about wanting to hold shadow cabinet elections, so I'll make that decision when I come to it, but I've made quite clear that if I'm deputy leader, I have a mandate of my own, the authority of my own, an elected authority. I will work with whoever is leader.
Can I just say, this talk about party members being childish, being morons, indulging in an emotional spasm, John McTernan, it is not helping.
Didn't he call the MPs who lent Corbyn the votes morons, not the members?
Yes, but they have been called childish. They have been told they're engaging in emotional spasm. It doesn't help. That's no way to talk about party members. And as for MPs saying they will not serve under Corbyn leadership, even if he's democratically elected, they will have to see what their own members think about that. If Jeremy wins, and of course it's by no means certain he's going to win, he will win because he's got a majority of votes. How can you turn round after a democratic process and say you don't support that leader?
We must leave it there. Thank you both very much indeed.